illegally exploring the outer bounds, mysterious strange purple cracks, rats that break into the laboratories, and unobtainable milk molars. Today we're going over the secrets of Grounded 2, Brook Hollow Park, what lurks beneath. Leave a like if you find this video useful, rat bags, let's go. Okay, so I've done quite a few videos showing Outer Bounds, and to be honest, not much has changed since a lot of them videos. The tree has been moved to the other side of the pond, and the pond is definitely significantly deeper. Also notice that the fountain has been removed. A big shell and structure that was once there is now gone. But in the summer update, when this arrives, it is looking absolutely stupendous. We're definitely going to need a water buggy to really explore these depths. Now, until literally recently, like today or yesterday, there was a hotfix that stopped players from being able to go and explore themselves. I told you guys there was a way to get some of your loot back if it disappeared in one of the chests, as seemingly all my chests, side tables, due to a bug in PTB for the garden update, all suddenly went to this location. The devs said they couldn't fix things if people lost anything, but of course they stopped these chests disappearing in the first place. So yeah, good luck though, they've now fixed the door so you won't be able to glitch through it. But eventually this shortcut will lead us to the obviously pond area. So who knows what will happen in future, maybe they'll add a bunch of new stuff. There are some floating ant eggs which appear to be red ant ones, shout out to Rosso for this picture, and these are like in the middle of nowhere in the unfinished areas. We are predicting to get fire ants coming soon, since the Xbox actual store page showed the fire ant armor, and I've shown you guys in videos as well. So could this be a placeholder for the fire ant hill? I'm sure most of you guys have found this now while exploring the gardens. At the mallet that leads onto the park bench, if you use a bomb to blow up the rock that's here, it exposes a pipe that you can go and get some algae from and a milk molar. But there is also a strange laboratory, one of maybe 2 or 3 that have been added that don't seemingly have too much going on inside, but are brand new to the starting area of the park, or just on the edge where the croquet place meets. And this one's definitely the strangest of all, a crack seemingly filled with raw science or some sort of entity. Now, I do believe the law, and I'm paraphrasing here, is that raw science has always been made by humans, aka Wendell, or was the result of his experiments. So is all this raw science accumulating deep in the ground, and apparently there's more cracks according to the law notes that we found, and it could explode and erupt at any time? With all Omnit's technologies and experiments, this has maybe caused this build up. Sadly, the crack itself was a bit disappointing. I thought I found some sort of secret code, turns out they were just black lines all over the dirt. You won't be able to get into this unless you're using a mod, but it's definitely still interesting. Could we see a cataclysmic event like we saw with the haze being turned off and unleashing the infected? Or imagine this might be a way to trigger New Game Plus in the finished version of Grounded 2. The raw science envelops the park, changes and mixes things up. Got a feeling we won't resolve this mystery until the very end of the game's release. If you head all the way over to the southeast corner of the greenhouse, you'll find this mysterious tunnel that leads to a laboratory that had one of the transit tube systems apparently broken and obviously inoperable. There is a door though, and it leads to that pinging sound of where you'll find a milk molar you can't reach. There's also some mites, so take care of them. There's a few upgrade rocks in the dirt around it, and memory serves me right, there wasn't really much on this body. So it looks like this area was meant to be connected up, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it actually working by the time we get the spring update. With a little bit more time they might finish it off, because yes, behind these doors there's a few little tunnels that have some more advanced upgrades. The milk molar that keeps pinging that no one can get, and yes, a giant killer rat that maybe went and gobbled up a few Omnit scientists before seemingly dying of some sort of impact from Earth around it or collapse. Could the explosion in the Outer Bounds area that we see reported on have caused this, and maybe that's also part of the raw science we saw in the crack? Beyond that milk molar though, there really isn't much else going on in here, but again, I fully expect to see this being opened up in the future. And I would be absolutely stoked if they did decide to add a giant rat, well in that case a giant rat, as a new Colossus in the future. So yes, I'm using quite a few cheats to access some of these, but one that you can go and find yourself, brand new added, is in the old part of the park. Just slightly to the north of the Billy Dog stand, you will find a new entrance, pretty close to the rubbish bags I guess. This pipe has always been here, but it never had anything going on with it really. But if you explore it now, you can actually swim and go through. Worth it maybe for the small amount of algae which you're gonna need for your pumpkin walls, and eventually you'll get to the end for some raw science. But this isn't actually the secret bit. It's this right here. Check out this laboratory that you can go ahead and open the door with using the scanner. It's obviously been flooded. And once more, there really wasn't anything else to gain other just then some more algae, but you can swim up and you'll be in another small laboratory. Inside, a supply room for making maybe a little mini base and some water. Once you hit that switch, the door will open and it will lead to another cave and another entrance. So if you want to build yourself a little outpost near the rubbish, and there is the shortcut with the ranger station pretty close by to this, that takes you over to the podium, then it might be worth investing some time in to explore. Another one you will be able to do, but maybe only in creative mode, is check out the black anthill early. I am guaranteeing this is going to be the entrance for it. It is situated in the north of the garden zone amongst a lot of the vegetables growing. We know this update is going to be arriving in the spring, and obviously there may be even a new black ant queen. If you fiddle about enough with lots of foundations to give yourself just a bit of a platform and make sure that you've got a chair that you can place and finally reach, you might be able to sneak your way past the big massive boulder that's blocking the entrance. I spent over an hour doing this because my cheats weren't working due to an update, and yeah, was it worth it? Probably not, but it is interesting to see what the black anthill could look like. I'm sure they might make some changes, but as we know, usually when they leave some of this stuff in, it does end up being quite similar. After stacking some tables on some foundations and using the handynet in creative mode, I finally was able to sit on this chair and make my way in. Nothing can stop me, Obsidian, Eidos, nothing! There is a shed ton of carrots in these tunnels, as well as some pretty gnarly waterways. So could we be doing a lot of swimming to get to the end goal of trying to find the black ant queen and getting ourselves a black ant buggy? Maybe. They certainly went on and on. There was even more little corridors that you could go into with only lots of the mold stalks to go and grab. Obviously we're going to have to wait a few more months to find out if this really is going to be the anthill, but I'm pretty certain it will be. Another one I'm sure you've come across before is now the shortcut that you can take from under the greenhouse all the way through to the southern part of the flower beds next to the statue. There's actually two entrances, one of these just directly outside the greenhouse and then this one inside underneath some of the little pots, but they both lead to the same spot, the Sour Tang Lakes. You might even find a few sour sweets floating around that you can go and harvest. If you're going to do it, take off your armour and just bring plenty of heals. There are a bunch of gloom mushrooms down here as well. There's a series of jumps and wires that you can get across to explore the full caverns, but deep down you'll find even more stuff. I was assuming that we might have to purify this place or something, because there is one of the demisters that you have to activate inside the greenhouse, and I figured, oh, maybe it will flood it if we do a certain action. But no, after doing everything with the story, this place is still filled with tang. But for sure it is worth the risk, as you'll find a whole ton of upgrade rocks at one end of the cracked pipes. And then swim the other way and you'll actually start swimming up, and this leads to the shortcut I mentioned earlier. So a definitely shortcut if you're fully not prepared. You also will find a dead body up here as well. I don't think it had too much on it, maybe like a few pieces of, I think, chrysis leather. But keep exploring around and you will find even more upgrade rocks plus some earwigs. It's not the best way to get into the garden for sure, but hey, it's another way, and maybe it will change because it did seem pretty unfinished. Maybe it needs a bit more work to make it viable. It really would be cool if we could purify the water and just come down here with one of our buggies. You'll eventually come to a tunnel that will take you up, and then it's a simple case of going through the hedge and you'll more or less be on the southern flower bed. If you go back on yourself though, don't forget to go and get the milk molar that's on top of the light fixture that you can see from the wall anyway, just behind Burgle and Wendell. There's 16 of these milk molars that you can get and 4 golden ones, FYI. Maybe not really a secret, but inside the candy facility you can see all of these cylinders with the candies that have been melted. There is actually a door, so were they planning for us to come in here? It does feel like it has been developed a lot more. Kind of would hope so. It would be nice to pick up something new in the future. I love the idea of also coming back to this factory to do things in the future as well. At the moment it's simply just part of the story, but imagine if you had to get liquid candy to get new upgrades or imbue yourself somehow. Inside the Veg Ranger station there is another ominous door that does seem to lead to a new tunnel. Of course, only if you've got cheats, but you may have noticed the one on the right is red and blocked up. On the other side there is a hand scanner, so the devs have gone to the effort of adding this, so it's clearly something we will explore in the future. But at the moment it's just a tunnel to the abyss. And yeah, I know about the candy apple, guys. It's in the war-torn hill. You can't really miss it. So I feel like everyone should know this by now. I've seen a bunch of creators finding it and stuff. I think it's more of a gimmick. I don't think it's a resource we'll actually be getting in the future. Just something for the ants to fight over for now. Obviously, we will get tier 4 Omnant tools. But yeah, if you try in creative mode, you can hit it like once or it comes up with a prompt, but then it won't actually let you bust it. And one I'm sure you've all found now, hence why I'm not really covering a lot of these caves that have actual stuff in them, is the cave in the hammer. No, wait, the cave under the hammer? It's actually pretty easy to survive as long as you've eaten a bunch of the Tangle sweets. They'll give you a bit of protection against obviously losing your health. Keep swimming through, there are some upgrade rocks, and yeah, you will need though a tier 3 axe to break through the soggy route. F in chat for daggers, people, F in chat. So yeah, this place is pretty well known. There's a bunch of earwigs to take care of. Keep making your way through, climb up some potatoes, and you'll have to take care of some orc earwigs. And if you're a wizard, Harry, this is where you want to come to get the Bale trinket, which is a snake scale, and it will give you lots and lots of boost to your candy explosions. But something I totally missed the first time I'd done this was there is a little nod to Potato Chef. If you're an old school fan of Grounded 1, you'll know they use Potato Chef to mark out areas that they might work on in future or simply weren't just gonna. The inside of the shed had a huge one. If you look on the roads outside, if you can climb some of the walls in Grounded, you will find more pictures of giant potato chefs. I can't lie, I was trying to convince chat this was an Easter egg to me, given it's got a red little hat like a fez hat. And did you know Wendell was meant to be wearing a fez instead of a beret in some of the original concept art for Grounded 2? But I concede it's clearly a nod to Potato Chef. I mean, the dude's made out of potatoes and he's got a hat that kind of looks like a chef's hat. And that's it for now. Is there anything I've missed? Any strange tunnels or doors that seemingly can't be opened or you can access? Don't want you guys pitching in with how to get special weapons and this and that. I want stuff that usually is a little bit difficult to getting access to unless you're using cheats or the chair glitches, or maybe there's a nice little Easter egg that I might have missed. Of course, as long as there's more mysteries to come in Grounded 2, I'll be there to cover them. So until next time, ratbags, I'll catch you later.